Hi, and welcome to Pet Pals. Every week we showcase animals that are available for adoption at the Frederick County Division of Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. I'm Linda Shea, Division Director, and with me is Randy Cooper, one of our long-term volunteers. Today we're starting off with one of our favorite pets here at the shelter. This is Diesel. You can tell Diesel is a pit bull mix. He is about 70 pounds, but underweight. He came to us about a month ago, and he was the product of or the result of an eviction. So he came to the shelter, his folks lost their place of residence, and that's how he ended up with us. Diesel has already been neutered, he is current on vaccines, and he's got a great temperament and personality. What we recommend, if you have an existing dog in your home, you want to bring him in and kind of meet and greet with Diesel. He tends to do better with bigger dogs rather than the little guys. But as far as people, he is very people-centered. You can tell he's very well-mannered. He's very agreeable, very affectionate. He's just overall very surprisingly quiet. From a dog like this, given his age, he's about 3 to 4 years old, I would expect him to be a little more vocal than he is, but just very quiet. And we've had him up at the front desk, which is a very heavily trafficked area with the number of visitors that we get every day, and he is just happy laying in his bed, chewing on a bone, falling asleep, very gentle and perusing around the front office area. So he has served as sort of a greeter dog for the last week or so. But we were looking to place him with somebody who's got pit bull or bully breed experience. He is a big guy, so he would probably not be appropriate for a first-time dog owner. He had some skin issues upon arrival. We have provided medical treatment for that, so he is on the mend from that. And again, he is ready to be adopted. So if you're looking for a big dog, if you're looking for a well-mannered dog, Diesel would be a good choice for your family. On the other end of the spectrum from our previous pit bull mix Diesel, this is Zorro. He is only just under 5 pounds, and he came to us as a stray. He was brought in by an animal control officer from the C&O Canal area in Brunswick. So that is extremely unfortunate. We never know if animals are truly abandoned or if they just escape from their owners and get lost, but we're glad that we were able to respond and get him to a safe environment here at the shelter. He's only about 1 to 2 years old, coming in as a stray. We don't have a lot of or any background on him, so we went ahead and provided him preventative vaccines, deworming, flea prevention, and everything that he needs to remain healthy. Again, coming into the shelter as a stray, we don't know if this dog has already had vaccines, so we take the precautions necessary to ensure that he can stay as healthy as possible. Prior to leaving here, he'll be neutered, he'll be microchipped, so if he gets away from his new family, we'll be able to return him a little more easily. We do have him recommended for adult home or older children. If you can just imagine, this is an under 5 pound dog, and if you've got enthusiastic young children, that can kind of be a recipe for disaster. So you want to make sure that regardless of what type of pet you have in your home, as a parent, you are responsible for making sure that both the pet and your children are kept safe. And sometimes that is just employing a little bit of thought and logic to what kind of pets you want to introduce and how you are going to train your children to kind of respect and manage living in the same home as with a small pet. But for Zorro, because he came in as a stray, we don't know his background. Because of his size and because of his breed, we do have him recommended for older children and adult home only. Now, if you have younger children, Chihuahua experience, and you've done some research and you've managed a toy breed before, that is definitely a point of conversation. But in the meantime, this is Zorro looking for a forever home. This little girl is China. She is just under 30 pounds, and she is a pit bull mix, and we're looking at her this morning thinking that she, due to her size and her face and some of that reverse sneezing, there could be some Boston Terrier, there could be something recessive in there that's creating just a smaller, compact build for her, and also that muzzle. But she is adorable. She's just about a year old. You can tell that she's happy to be in your lap. She's got a lot of energy. She's color-coded green. One of the things that we do here at Animal Control with our dogs, we do behavior assess. It's about a 15-20 minute process, and it we kind of gauge their interaction with other dogs, with people, with food and toys. And she is green primarily because you can tell easily her energy level is extremely high. We've got her recommended for older children and adult home only. And again, those are recommendations. And we do that to allow potential adopters to kind of come in, and sometimes coming into an animal shelter can be overwhelming. So we try to make the process as smooth and easy as possible with as much information as we can provide initially. So if you see a dog like China and you've never owned a dog before, I would steer clear only because of her energy level, because of her age. Just she needs somebody with a little bit of dog experience. However, if you do have dog experience, if you've got bully breed type experience, if you've got an energy level to keep up with her, and if you have a way to keep her entertained, because she's really smart, so if you don't keep that brain working, she's going to try to figure out things in your house to do, which might be redecorating the furniture, maybe moving things around a little bit. But she is very social, very sweet, and again, just under 30 pounds. So if you are looking for a good companion that's got a high energy level, China would be a good choice.
What are you doing the Chihuahua shape for?
This little guy is named Wancho. He came to us just about 10 days ago. He's about 3 years old, obviously a tan and white Chihuahua, and he is just a little over 9 pounds. 9 pounds, 2.5 ounces. Came to us, his folks were moving and were not allowed to take the dog along, and they'd gotten him from a friend about 2 years ago. So one thing that we try to avoid at Animal Control when we adopt out pets, we do check with landlords. We want to make sure that wherever you're living now is on board and agreeable to having the pet that you've selected. The last thing we want to do is adopt out an animal and then it gets returned to us because the landlord says no. So you want to make sure that if you are a renter, that you're respectful of the rules, that you understand the rules. However, I would encourage you that if your landlord is agreeable and open to a conversation, and you can provide information stating that the pet you want to adopt is going to be spayed, neutered, microchipped, house-trained, you know, and you're going to take responsibility for any damage that they might create. We encourage crating dogs if you are not home during the day. If there's certain areas of the home that you don't want your dog to be in, you can use baby gates just to kind of cut off that part of the home. So there's a lot of ways to be creative if you want to incorporate a pet into your home and still maintain the home in good condition. Again, Wancho is a Chihuahua. He's just a little over 9 pounds. We do have him recommended also for older children and adult home because of his size, and he is very, very shy. So again, when we say that, it may sound like, gee, most of your dogs and pets there are older children. What happens if we've got a toddler? That doesn't mean that the pet's off limits to you. It just means that it's a flag to us that there needs to be deep conversation and thought on your part. If you want to incorporate this dog into your home, you want to make sure that you've thought about how you're going to do that, how you're going to do that successfully, and we can certainly help you with that. But this is Wancho, again, was turned in, no fault of his own. His folks moved and could not take him along. So this beautiful little boy we named him Lex. He's a Tibetan Spaniel. He is just about a year and a half, so he's very young. And he was found as a stray. One of our officers brought him in, came from near Monocacy Bridge, near Dickerson, Maryland. So you want to make sure that if you have lost a pet like this, that you're checking the local animal control facilities, shelters, and adjacent counties. Dickerson is one of those areas that kind of borders Frederick County and Montgomery County, but he was found on the Frederick side, which is why we responded. Tibetan Spaniels are one of my favorite breeds. I've had them as pets in the past, and this guy is, he's a little bit bigger than normal. He's about 18 pounds and still intact. So prior to leaving here, he will be neutered, he will be microchipped. So in the event he gets away from his new owners, we would be able to return him pretty quickly. One thing that we recommend, especially when we see dogs like this, we recommend microchipping. So we do have clinics at the shelter a couple of times a year. I know other organizations have microchipping clinics, rabies and license clinics as well through the year. So you really want to consider that. This dog is extremely social. He's been cared for. So we don't know the backstory of how he ended up being lost or being near the Monocacy Bridge without an owner attached to them. Tibetan Spaniels in general, they're very cat-like, they're very clean. You'll often find them grooming themselves as you would a cat. And they do need, they're kind of considered wash and show dogs. They require minimal grooming. They do require brushing. You need to keep them clean. They do require bathing, but overall they keep themselves fairly clean. Their coat does not develop a heavy undercoat, and it doesn't get extremely long. Sometimes they'll get mats, and this little guy came in with the standard mats behind the ears. That's one of those places on this breed that you'll see mats develop pretty quickly. So if you're interested in a dog like this, you want to do the research, you want to ask some questions, and we can certainly be a resource to let you know if he would be a good choice for your family. We are going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, we've got 4 of our feline friends to look at, and you want to make sure that you stay tuned because we've got a special guest at the very end of the show. We'll see you in a little bit.
Are you a fan of Facebook? Hooked on Twitter? Now you can stay connected to County Executive Jan Gardner using your favorite social media platforms. Like, follow, and subscribe today. Seniors stay active and engaged in the community while making new friends by participating in events at Frederick County Senior Centers. Each of the 4 centers provide a variety of educational, health, fitness, and recreational activities, as well as resources to help area seniors maintain their wellness and independence. Nutritious congregate meals are offered daily for contributions of up to $5, and limited transportation services are provided for seniors 60 and older. Advanced registration is required for both of these services. Contact your local senior center for specific information about the programs and services offered in your area. Help protect the environment and prevent prescription drug misuse by disposing of all your expired and unwanted household medications and prescription drugs safely. The Frederick County Health Department has teamed up with local law enforcement to provide 6 convenient drop-off sites for unwanted medication within the county. Locations include the Frederick Police Department, the Thurmont Police Department, the Frederick County Law Enforcement Center, the Brunswick Police Department, the Middletown Municipal Center, and the 2nd floor of the Emmitsburg Community Center.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Welcome back to Pet Pals. This is a familiar face for us. This is Helga. She has been on Pet Pals a number of times, and the reason we keep showcasing cats like this is just to remind the viewers and our potential adopters that she's still here. She's been here since January. Helga is about 8 to 9 years old. She is a senior cat, so she qualifies for a senior discount on her adoption fee. She's got a great personality, great temperament. She has adjusted well to the shelter, but we know that she is deserving of a forever home. She came to us as a stray from Jefferson. She is front declawed. We don't advise having your cat front declawed, but she came to us like that. So if you're looking for an older cat that's already front declawed, Helga would be a good choice. And the other thing, one of the questions that we get pretty often is how long do you keep animals at the shelter? And here at Frederick County Division of Animal Control, we are open admission, meaning we take in animals that need us from within county limits regardless of circumstance. And there's really no time limit. A cat like Helga you might see another couple of times on Pet Pals before she gets adopted. We don't put time limits as long as they are healthy, temperamentally sound, behaviorally stable, and doing well overall in the shelter. Animals will stay here sometimes for a very long time, but our goal is when we notice an animal that's been here for a very long time, we will make every effort to continue to market and market a little more heavily to find them a good home. So if you're watching this, if you have a clip, if you find it on her little clip on Facebook, go ahead and share that with your friends, and let's see if we can't get this girl adopted pretty quickly. This handsome fellow we named Mikey. He came to us just about 3 weeks ago from the Newmarket area, came in as a stray, and Mikey is a gorgeous classic brown, or just your basic brown tabby, and he's about 1.5 years old. He's about 9.5 pounds, and he's a good example of the lengths that the shelter goes through to try to assess animals for adoption. When Mikey came in, he was very shy, and he was housed in something that we call a wild box, meaning that it's a little plastic, kind of like a carrier, that offers cats privacy and protection, helps them feel a little bit secure. And typically we use those for the cats that come in that are a little less social than you would expect a house pet to be. But over time, Mikey has certainly acclimated. You can see now he's comfortable sitting in somebody's lap. He's certainly come out of that wildcat box, and now is on our adoption floor. Initially, we were unable to scan him. We scan every animal that arrives here, regardless of situation, for a microchip. When Mikey first arrived, we were unable to just place the wand over his shoulder blades to see if he had a microchip or not. But you can see how much he has kind of blossomed socially since he's been here. So we do give animals every chance that we possibly can to assess them for adoption. The other option that we have folks in the community that will help us with cats that are handleable but maybe not adoption floor material as far as placing them appropriately. But Mikey is here now. He again came in as a stray. We won't go ahead and we test all of our cats for feline leukemia and feline immunodeficiency virus. He's negative on both. He's already neutered, microchipped, vaccinated, so he is ready for his new home. So this little girl is Skippy. She is about 4 years old, came in previously owned, and she's just a little over 10 pounds. So a lot of times when cats are overweight, and she's just mildly overweight, you can help them out by just measuring their food. That is a good start. And so often when you go to your veterinarian at least once a year, you will notice that your vet will often ask you how much does she eat and how often do you feed her. And then they do the math and figure out how much she's actually taking in calories. Some pet owners, though, don't measure, and you're at a loss when the vet asks you how much are you feeding, and you don't know what to answer. Or you might say something like, well, I just free feed and I top off the bowl when the food goes down. So you want to make sure that you're measuring food. It's just good practice. It will help you economically. At least you know what in your budget, how much food you need to buy. And truly, cats do not need to be free fed. They should be, unless they've got some medical condition and unless your vet kind of offers up different information for your specific cat, measuring food is a good way to start, just in keeping them healthy and keeping them at good portions. One of the reasons that, Skippy was turned in by an owner, they'd had her initially as a stray for her whole entire life. They had 2 other cats and an older dog in the house, and they turned her in for having litter box issues. We have not witnessed that here, and so often when cats are turned in because they're not using the litter box appropriately, there's a couple of things that could be going on. Not enough litter boxes in the house. You should have at least 1 extra litter box. So if you've got 2 cats, you should have 3 litter boxes at least. Some cats, if they're older, if they're larger, might need a larger size litter box. Cats are not fans typically of the heavily scented litter, so you want to consider that if your cat's got an issue with using the litter box. But with Skippy, what we've done with her when she was turned in, we go ahead and do an observation card. So we have the dates, we have what we've observed as far as her litter box usage, and we have not observed any issues with that. So we have placed her up for adoption. Certainly if you've got any questions about a cat like this, I know folks are often resistant to adopting a cat that's had litter box issues in the past, but we can help you kind of, the personality matches, we can help you introduce her into your home successfully. This little fella's name is Jay. He is about 4 to 5 years old, and he was turned in because he and the family dog just didn't get along in a manner that the owners thought that they should, and they claimed that they were unable to supervise both pets. So again, it comes down to one of those situations where if you have pets in your home, more than one, if you've got pets and children in your home, you need to sometimes be creative as far as introducing them to be successful, and then keeping them apart at times. Apparently, Jay was getting into the dog's food. So that can be resolved by maybe feeding the dog in a crate, maybe putting Jay in a bedroom during the dog's feeding time. There's just lots of different ways to kind of accomplish what you want to. You kind of have to figure out what you are agreeable to managing in your home when you've got more than one pet. It can be challenging, absolutely, and when you've got different species and you've got kind of a strong-willed cat or dog, you want to just take that into consideration. But typically, most situations have a solution if you're willing to put forth an effort in doing some research, being creative, and then being tolerant. Some situations you're going to just have to manage rather than repair. If you offer a bowl of food to a cat like Jay, it is unlikely that he'll be able to walk past it without taste testing. So you just have to consider that. But he's a great guy. He's almost 12 pounds, so he's a big cat, 4 to 5 years old. He came to us already neutered. Snap tested him negative for feline leukemia and feline immunodeficiency virus. He did come into us without any vet care prior that we are aware of, other than his neutering. So the vaccines that we've brought him up to speed on vaccines, deworming, and preventatives. So overall, he's a great guy, big cat, very affectionate, and he is described as a nuzzler by our staff and volunteers. So at Frederick County Division of Animal Control, when we say we are open admission, we really mean it. This little girl was turned in by her owner. She came in with the name Waddles, and she's not a cat, she's not a dog, so if we've got children watching, you can certainly see that she's a little pig. She's about 10 weeks old. She doesn't have much history to her. She was acquired through Craigslist, and then after a week, the person that acquired her from Craigslist decided that they couldn't keep her for various reasons. They just didn't give us a lot of information. So we are seeking to find her a home as a pet. She does vocalize, as most pigs do. They have this little squealy squeak to them, but Waddles likes being held. She's very social, she's sweet. Pigs are very smart overall. They can be kind of house trained. But one thing that I think most folks that acquire them don't realize how big they can get. Even our smaller breed pot-bellied pigs that folks get for pets can get up to 120 pounds, which is much larger. They're not going to stay this size. Waddles is probably about 7 to 10 pounds right now, and she's about 10 weeks old. So she will get much larger as she continues to grow. So we're seeking a home, an adoptive home for her. If you have pig experience, if you have a farmette, if you have information that can help us find her an appropriate placement, we're open to gaining that information. We are in the process of learning more about pigs. We have two in the shelter at the moment. We have a male that seems to be the same breed as Waddles, but he's about 50 pounds and older. And Waddles is again about 10 weeks. So we're in the process of a learning curve. So we ask that the community bear with us. But if we've got any pig experts out there, any pig rescue people, sanctuaries, possible pet owners for this type of animal, please contact the shelter. We want to learn more about her and certainly want to place her in the best home possible where she can live a nice long life. So again, this is Waddles, our resident female pig at the moment, looking for an adoptive forever home. So thanks for joining us on Pet Pals. If you've seen any animals here that you're interested in adopting, we encourage you to visit the shelter. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.